Mr. Andy has picked us up goods from John Deere. Alright, welcome back to the channel. We are back on this 850 John Deere engine. This is a 6090. It's a 9-liter John Deere engine. Guys have not seen, I'll link the first video down below. We're probably gonna have a few videos on this machine over here. Basically, I bought this dozer. It has no motor in it. It's missing a lot of stuff, so we're going to try to put it together. We robbed this motor out of another parts tractor. It had like 193 hours on it, and it had been cannibalized. They started taking parts off it, the military did, and it was missing the fuel system and a lot of stuff like that. So we took it apart, found some water, got down in it, nothing major, but we stripped this thing completely down, and off camera, me and Kevin spent, we probably got 8 or 10 hours of time in cleaning all this stuff up here. So we got all of our parts laid out. We washed everything in our cabinets. We got crank, heads disassembled, all cleaned up, valves. We got all kinds of stuff. Cam intake. Everything's been cleaned up. It's ready to go back together. My engine kit supplier was out of engine kits to fit this, unfortunately. So we just bought $20,000 worth of parts from John Deere sitting in these 4 boxes and a couple over there. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, we're not sponsored by John Deere?
We're not sponsored by John Deere. So we got all genuine John Deere engine parts going back in this thing. So it is costly for sure. So that $20,000 includes a lot of parts that thing's needing over too, just not the engine kit. So looks like you just get a lot of packing paper for $20,000. All right, we're gonna get stuff unboxed, kind of laid out, get us a game plan. We're gonna do a final inspection and rinse on this block, and probably start throwing main bearings and stuff like that in it. New bearings going in. Line the little thing up. Oil holes are important, aren't they?
They are.
Got our main thrust bearing here, so that takes the side load out of the crank. Kept all of them. We got them laid out 1 through 7 here, so kept the bearings matching. We're ready to lube things up and set the crank in, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Okay.
What you do is you just tap it in. Tap, 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 tap.
This is rolling forward. We got
stop sign.
3,500. That's what's it supposed to have. 3.5 to 4. All right, these guys seen what was going on. We torqued everything but the number 5 thrust bearing to 90 foot-pounds. Then we bumped the crank back and forth to seat the bearings. Hit it to 90 foot-pounds, and then we checked the clearance. We got 3.5 to 4 thousandths. The book says we can have from 1.5 to 15 thousandths, so we're well within spec. Now we got to go 120 degrees on that there fancy torque wrench. Yeah. This has a lot of torque to yield bolts, so you turn torque them. So this would be the first time we've had a torque wrench that does that. All right, so we're starting at 0 there. So this ratchet's smart enough to know if you go back and how far you've turned and how many degrees you got now. 97, 100, going to 120. And it will tell you how many foot-pounds that torqued at, 256. So they all been right around that, haven't they?
Yep.
A lot of times I'll mark a line on those heads and then turn them till that line lines up with the crank perpendicular or something like that. But that is pretty fancy. I'll have to give them credit. It's one reason why I bought that for these. So these bolts are one-time use. We got all new bolts from John Deere. Like I say, they're stretch torque to yield bolt. They even say special, do not reuse.
Honey, is this trash?
No, no, no.
I have ripcord in the closet.
It's spare parts for my other plane.
Hey, I'll put it with the other plate.
No.
So you don't forget about it.
We'll put it back in your closet when you leave.
No.
With the other one.
All right, we're gonna finish the rest of these. Six. All right, checking cylinder liner protrusion. They all come into 5 to 6 thousandths, which I think our spec is, where's that at? 4 to 9 thousandths. So we're right in spec there. They all have to be pretty close in the same tolerance within 2 thousandths. So again, this is only a 200-hour engine, so we're not getting too technical checking all the specs on crank and rod bearings. It's all standard. Everything looked awesome when it come apart in the last video, didn't it? So basically the military decided to start robbing parts off of it. The internals were pretty good, other than it got some water down in 3 cylinders. So, but as to be expected, take these bolts out. I'm gonna go ahead and label these cylinder packs just so we put them back in the same hole. So I just dropped these in dry, as you guys seen. We'll pull them back out, get our O-rings in there, and we got to fasten our rods. So these come from John Deere preloaded with the pistons in there. So we'll slide these down a little bit, get our rods put in here, and got new circlips. These are O-ring kits for our liners. We'll get all those put back in there. All right, got everything laid out 1 through 6. You got our rod caps. These are what they call a crack cap. They actually cut a little laser line in there when they make these, and they bust them apart and crack them, so they're unique to each rod. Can't interchange if they have numbers on them. So the piston orientation does not matter on the rod. We just got to get the rods where they say front, which is over here on this side. We got to get it towards the front of the engine. Got new rod bolts. Again, those are one-time use only. We'll get those lubed up. So we've got 3 O-rings to put in. I believe the black one I get on the liner, and then the orange one goes up, blue one goes down. Is that right? Sounds good.
Sure.
We got the book, so we don't know what we're doing. But, we're gonna get these things lubed up. We're gonna use Dawn soap on that. Slide these in there, probably get a block of wood or a rubber mount will probably work too, so O-rings are in there. You guys have probably seen us do this in the past, so we'll get those slid down in there. It kind of takes a little while. We'll get the rod caps just snugged on there. Once we get all the liners in, we'll put a bolt on there, hold all the liners in so they can't come out. We'll flip it over, get all the rods torqued down. You ready? Ready to come down?
Brett, what are you doing? Up yet.
Got all the numbers lined up, Bubby. I'm a little worried at you over here, and I start looking down these cylinders.
What?
And that one says 1, 2,
Listen,
3.
just because we can't spell doesn't mean you should make fun of us.
All you're doing is just
Jay,
create.
What?
You know how many comments are getting typed right now?
You're welcome.
All right, we ready to roll this thing over and start torquing some rod bolts?
Hooked on phonics. Work for me. Yard so I wouldn't throw it in at you.
Keep
Yeah.
talking.
Still talking. Yeah. It hurts. What hurts? Sometimes I cry myself to sleep at night.
So he clams up when the camera goes back on.
I don't want him to do it.
He makes fun of me off camera, but he won't on camera. 90 degrees.
This one too. Come back with better Tupperware. She got that in Baja 6?
I don't know. All right, we went 44 foot-pounds. Now we're going 90. These lines should all be parallel with the crank.
90 degrees.
After Kevin gets his fancy torque wrench set to 90. Bubby getting ready for Halloween.
Wonder how that got on my finger.
Even though it's probably like Christmas now.
It's a bully. Bully.
Oh, you're struggling.
I don't want to go over.
Is the line straight? It looks pretty straight.
That's wild.
That's how I used to do it.
When you have no degrees anymore, does it for you?
Yeah.
You can even stop and start again and it still remembers. Really? It's magical. Just off of 3 AAA batteries too.
138 foot-pounds is what you ended up at. Let's see how good you are. I would go over 1 degree so you get comments. Oh, you didn't do it.
Sorry, perfect's the only thing that's in my blood.
All right, I think the next thing we're gonna do is put the lifters in and slide the cam in. We'll flip the motor over Kevin's, I guess, getting some oil for the lifters. I even got the special little tool. I've never had it before. We got a toolkit with one of the military deals. It's got all the special tools for these motors, but these roller lifters have to be clocked within 25 degrees or less. You can drop them in by hand and eyeball them, but I got this little tool that goes down there. Lines them up better, so since we have it, we're going to use it. Do those two and these two. Oh gosh, you got enough oil on them?
All the better for you.
Just stick them in a hole and I'll get them there, bud. I got this tool.
Oh, is that what clocks them for you?
Mm-hmm.
Saul doesn't like me.
I got a little retainer ring on them too.
God.
That's a dandy little tool. Gosh, you got them crooked.
Oh, you're gonna do it with your fancy tool, remember?
And does line them up straight. You guys can see down in there. Alright, we'll get the rest of them in. Is that about the size of the cam in your El Camino there, bud?
The lift is, but the base isn't.
You wish. Alright, we got all the lifters in there. We're going to slide the cam in here next. The bushings in here, like I said, this is 200-hour motor. The bushings look like brand new, so we're not going to mess with those. We're going to get her slid in here. I'm gonna help my friend out here with some zip tie. So he can't lift this big heavy cam. I don't know why.
I'm not privy to such monsters. Oh, hang on.
Get your teeth lined up.
There you go.
You in?
I'm in.
Alright, so we did put our engine on number 1, top dead center. Pistons flat here. Got a V mark and a V mark. I'm going to verify that's right in the book. I believe the number 2 goes over here on the fuel pump. So, alright. Alright, we got her flipped over. I think next step is to reassemble our head. We got all the valves out. We cleaned the head. I guess we need to put new valve stem seals on first. Double check this thing's clean and go from there. So I got all the valves in order as they come out on our little board. So you ready?
Let's do it. Like decorating a cake.
Okay. Okay. Somebody lost one keeper. Not
There you
me.
go.
No, you said you're doing it.
Oh, okay.
I have the proper tool. He's gonna lose his eyeballs. We need some spare. There you go.
Just one. That's all we need.
You're just gonna leave that other one there?
Yeah.
Well, let me get the tool.
I wouldn't want to lose it.
I lost one in the parts washer. Don't ask me why I washed them, but I did. One more to go and we're done. You like that music?
You got a little song you want to play?
I do. Are you good at playing songs? Mary Had a Little Lamb?
Yeah, I don't have two, sorry. No. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle
It is almost Christmas in this video.
bell.
Okay, I'm sorry, people. All right, I think we are ready to set the head on the engine. Mr. Kevin's looking for the head gasket, it looks like. Gotta double check and get this all cleaned up. We should be good to go.
What's this tab? This tab does.
Lifter holes are out this way.
Yeah. I just didn't know if this tab had anything to do with.
Cover any holes up, are we?
See anything? That's what I'm talking about. Not very nice to it.
Warped.
Yeah.
Hold up. Side shift to your left. A little bit more. Come down a little. That's it. Set down on there good. We're gonna get brand new head bolts. Again, we can't reuse those. There's a very special torque sequence for these things. It's crazy. I think start in a circle and work your way out like that. Normally, most old school heads, you start in the middle and go out this way, but I believe we start in a pattern. It's kind of confusing. Anyway, we're gonna get set up and go through that. Somebody blowed their elbow out. Let's look at it from the inside. You definitely jacked it up. Quit that. Alright, we have the funkiest torque pattern. This is number 1. It goes around the outside, all the way around here, and then we come back in the middle, hit those two, then you hit these two, do that, and you jump to the other side. It makes no sense whatsoever. So what did it torque to first? 640?
60.
60? And then you turn it 90 degrees 3 times for 270 degrees total. So we're on the last of the 90s.
Yeah, I was good for the 100 and like the 140, but then when it went over 2, I said, tag out.
Did you get them all?
You bet you believe it.
Well, lines are supposed to be facing this way when you get done.
Lucky for you.
Okay. Now it's break time. Alright, we got our new injectors from John Deere laid out. You might notice they come with the paper, got each one of them numbered. So they have a sequence number you got to put in the engine computer. We'll probably do that later on when we put the motor in the dozer. My friend Kevin has been to the DG.
That's right, bud.
Got some petroleum jelly. We couldn't find any. So they always like to use petroleum jelly on the O-rings on the fuel system. Plus it's going to help us hold on this little sealing washer on there. That's what seals up the combustion fuel. And we got to put some on there. So how was DG?
It was great.
All right. Well, I think I about got us ready to go. So there's a sequence to these two. So the injector is going to drop down in the hole here. So the fuel feeds in through here. So we're going to put the injector in. I think it torques down like 89 inch-pounds or something. You seat it down basically, and you're going to back that bolt off where it's loose. Then we're going to put the sleeve in here. This is where the high pressure fuel comes. We're going to put that sleeve in there, tighten this down. You cannot let this thing spin when you tighten it down. It's got it flat so you can hold it. You're going to tighten down a outside nut right here that holds this on right there. So definitely don't want to let that spin. You got to make sure you got the injector lined up in that little hole that goes in the side of here. So this is real high pressure fuel. It can get up to 25,000 psi. So that's what they call common rail system, high pressure. Anyway, you ready?
I am ready.
We'll go ahead and get
Numero uno.
we'll go ahead and lube all these up and get them ready to go. I need lube around there. Oh, you got to break in your Vaseline, bud.
Yeah, that's right.
And you put some on there so this sticks on there. So yeah, they don't want you spinning that tube in there and galling that up. You put it right there so this washer sticks on. This is what seals the combustion up.
There we go.
So did it look at you funny when you just walked in there for a thing of Vaseline?
No.
They're
That's a
pretty-
pretty funny place to begin with.
right? Then we need some Vaseline on that. Alright, we're going to repeat the process in all of them. I guess I could go ahead and put that one in there, huh? And this is number 1, which is all the way over here. Make sure we got our hole lined up. And I believe we got to get our clamp kind of started here too at the same time. It's kind of a juggling act. It's kind of got to go on there first. The bolt started. And just push that in there like that. Like I say, we'll go through and torque them. I think it's 89 inch-pound seat them, back it off 60 degrees, and then I'll bring you back when we put the tubes in. Alright, Mr. Kevin torqued those down. Now he's backing them off. Now we're going to get tube. It's got a new O-ring on it. So it's going to go in there. And we got a new tube nut. So we got to get a wrench and a wrench to fit those two. So we don't want that to turn whatsoever, so it don't gall that up. We're going to snug those down, tighten those down. I think it's 40 or 60 foot-pounds. I got to look that up. We tighten those down, then we can torque the injector the rest of the way. Alright, Mr. Kevin got the injectors in. I like doing that before we stick the rocker arm intake on. So these are the intake holes here you see. It's all integrated into the cover. We got a new gasket here from John Deere. Not sure which way it goes. I'm just gonna hand it to my little buddy. It goes like that, I think. Turn the switch on the dash, Jay. There you go. You like that?
Kind of.
All right, Kevin's getting the bolts snugged up. I got bolts over here with new sealing washers. The reason is those go down through the intake port, so you gotta make sure they're sealed up. Got a little oil on those. I believe it torqued to 26 pound-feet, foot-pounds, whatever you want to say. Start in the middle on this one and work your way out each way. And it's getting late here at the end of the day, and you need a regular extension so you can have lots of haters.
Shortest possible extension due to deflection purposes of...
Okay, comments are going. If you know, you know. So I've got to go to the John Deere farm store of all places. This rear main seal, if you guys watched my video from a year or two ago, they got an update. They keep changing stuff. So this is the old rear main seal housing. It had a flange type seal bolted to this. If you watched the first video, we took that out. Well, they updated this piece, so they make you buy this piece. It's like 125 bucks or so. And new seal goes in there. You cannot use this old style seal housing with the new seals they give you. So anyway, we're gonna run up the farm store, get that tonight before they close. We'll be back in the morning and button up what we can and get the rear structure on. Injector harness, rockers, push rods, set the valves. We got lots we can do. We're gonna be waiting on a new water pump, oil cooler that may be here tomorrow. Like I say, we're putting everything new in this motor for sure, so. But it is getting there. I got all new sensors, EGR valve, everything's gonna be brand new. Okay, bub. Let me put some more on the top of those things too.
Size, or that's one side?
It wasn't too bad actually.
Yeah. Pressed apart, your press?
I cut it out and pressed the new stuff in.
Yeah.
But I got stuff.
You didn't do any line bore or anything on 25 or anything yet, or
No, I put it up for sale.
see if somebody wants it done or whatever?
All right, we got that all buttoned up. We do have to adjust the valves yet. Before we do that, I want to put the front and rear structures on, get all the gears and stuff in there so we can time them off that way. We do have the motor on #1 top dead center, but I want to get the flywheel in there so we can pin it when we turn it over to do the other set of cylinders. But Kevin's outside unloading some attachments that we got in. So while he's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and get this fuel system on. So if you guys have watched our first video on this motor, you guys know this thing was cannibalized. It's missing the high pressure fuel rail, the high pressure pump, and all that stuff. So I got a good used fuel rail off another motor we had. I've got a rebuilt high pressure pump from our friends at Area Diesel Service. They rebuilt this for us. This is a Denso fuel system on this machine. So if you guys need anything diesel fuel related, definitely check them out. So we got that rebuilt. We're gonna stick that on there. We got a new gear for it because it was all missing. So a lot of people ask, I see like in the John Deere forums and stuff, where these pumps have to be timed because they're just build pressure all the time. The answer is yes, they do have to be timed to the motor. This is like a 3-piston pump, and it has to be timed when that piston goes up to deliver enough fuel pressure when the rest of the engine needs it. So we've got our 2 timing marks here. If you guys can see, we've got a #2 right there. So this little injection pump gear has a #2 too. So it's gonna go in between those 2 right there. And the injection pump has a keyway on it, so you just can't go slamming that injection pump in there any position you want. They won't run right. So definitely keep that in mind. Even though they are a common rail system, that pump does have to be timed to the engine. So I'm gonna get that put in there. And I've got all new rail, or all new lines. You're supposed to never reuse these lines, but I've got all new ones because I didn't have them. So they're supposedly one-time use. I have reused them a couple times, so But remember, this is very high pressure, so you gotta have a good seal on there. But we'll get this pump stuck on here next. All right, we got fuel rail on here, putting all brand new fuel lines on here. I say there's a one-time use and I didn't have them to begin with. I'll get those tightened up. They gotta be really tight. There's a lot of pressure that goes through there. And that goes there. We're getting there. Since my friend's back, we might put the heavy parts on now.
We're so glad you're back.
All right, since we have this big fancy John Deere toolkit, I've always done these with a hammer, the wrong way I guess, so we've actually got the right seal installer. We're gonna use that, crank that in, do it the right way. I don't know what happened to the last 8 or 10 motors though.
Waiting. To fresh?
Probably, then we'll check it. About right there. No, you gotta go in there deeper, don't you?
Kind of scared.
You're there, ain't you? Why do the right tools take so much longer than a hammer?
Hammer and a socket.
It does look nice though. Alright, we're gonna do the back structure and then we'll
The cam won't fall out now?
No, cams contain.
Yeah, you can't fall
So we
out.
can roll it over.
Bring it back.
How you doing? Good job.
I am. We're putting the look at your black shirt.
It's a catch.
Somebody brought powdered donuts for Kevin.
They're very good.
So we're putting rear main on, putting a little Loctite on these bolts. We got a bunch of special tools we got to use, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Are you all right?
Mhm.
You should look at your mouth through the camera. Turn the camera around.
Thank you for my donuts, Jay. You're a good
So we
salesman.
got a piece that goes in here to line this up, and then this piece goes down here to make that flat. You know what the funny thing is? I've never had these tools. I usually just put a square here and put the seal in there to line it up.
But now we got
Well,
it.
we're gonna do it the right way. All right, so we got this bottom plate that sets our rear seal housing up or down this way. Then they got this one. These have to be installed at the 3 and 9 o'clock position here, so that lines it this way, if that makes sense. These are like on little wedges, so I got that in there. So now I believe we can torque this seal housing down. Sounds like Kevin's get the torque wrench out. Yeah, it's a fun time. So what I usually do is put the seal on, let the seal line everything up, and then put a square across here if you don't have the tools. It's worked before, so anyway, we're professionals now, I guess, because we're on YouTube. That's right. Come on, baby. Alright, so you got this adapter, it goes on the crank. Seals, goes on this way, it says this side out. And then they got this installer here. I think we just get a nut and a washer and crank that on. We are done. We look pretty good over here. It's gonna hit those bolts we put in.
Yep.
I don't know if those bolt heads are too high.
Oh, about to find out.
So I need to take the washers off of them more. got to go in a little bit more. We could take these bolts out. Those two are going to hold it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I bet those are supposed to be Allen, or them round button head Allen screws probably. That's alright, we'll make it work. We're going to take these out, we're going to get that down the rest of the way and she'll be fine. We'll put those right back in. Alright, we got that seal pushed in the rest of the way. That piece goes down there and bottoms out. We're going to put those bolts back in there. Kevin, retorque them. I did check the clamps on the back of the flywheel. We'll be fine with those bolts. So. Alright. Are we going to put that big old heavy flywheel on, or are we doing the oil pan and stuff?
Oil pan.
I think the oil pan might be easier to put on because there's a couple of bolts it's hard to get to. And then we'll put the back on. Alright, got her flipped off. I'm going to trim the extra gaskets off here. Nice and flush. And I guess we got to put the oil pump on first. The gasket's a little tougher. Alright, we got to get a couple new O-rings down in the block for the feed hole. Kevin's getting it cleaned up. Part box.
Is it coming? Okay.
Rained out, huh?
Rain day for him.
Rain day.
That's probably gonna come up.
What?
Can you get it? Put this in there. Oh yeah.
Hold on a second. There she went. And then this one goes. Is that right? Is this right? Gotta go this way. You'll probably have to pick the pump up. Now we need some lube on that O-ring. Okay. All right, we got a little bit of silicone on the mating surfaces where they go on those front and rear covers, in case there's a little difference in there. Help take up any imperfections. And I believe we got a brand new oil pan over here. And I'll tell you the reason why. These things are out of aluminum, and I've had this happen on a couple of them. You guys see this thing's all pitted up. It's been in some kind of corrosive dirt. We got a hole right through there. So guys, don't clean your belly pans up. It gets full of dirt, something that's got a lot of acid or something like that in it, and it just eats holes in them. So it's very important to keep your belly pans clean on these machines just for that fact. So does everything look good inside this one? $750 it ought to, right?
Yeah, better.
This thing's not smooth by no means, is it? Looks like they scraped aluminum off the floor and put in it. How's that going for you? It's not sitting.
Backwards.
Yeah.
It ain't no small block Chevy, that's for sure.
People are just typing
It's
away
a
in the
dang
comments.
Ford.
That looks better, Bubby. okay. It's not my oil pan.
Me neither.
Hang on, bub. This gasket that we used is not right back here. Let's take it back off.
What's wrong?
I told you that was the wrong gasket. Our holes are gone. Remove your oil pan. I knew it was that little red one. So they give you like 5,000 gaskets in these kits because they're used on farm tractors and bulldozers and this looks better back here. There's a reason why I use those, huh? Alright, now I got holes back here again. Can you get up there?
Yep.
It's one more than likely of the farm tractor engine. A lot of times the farm tractors, the frame is built into the oil pan is built into the frame. It's all one piece. So. Alright, you got a lot of bolts to put in now.
Too late.
God, I missed it, huh?
Too late.
You get her all torqued, did you? It's a lot of torquing.
We need to have a talk with John Deere.
Yeah, about their torque sequences. And was this one weird too?
Yeah, 30 plus 60 degrees.
Oh, you had to turn those?
Yeah, 30 and then turn them 60 degrees and
I
then
forgot about
22s and turn them 60 degrees.
I was texting with Kurt at Area Diesel about our turbo he's working on, so trying to give him the story of everything. I'm like, it's complicated what we're doing. So I just sent him a link to the first video so you can figure it out. Sounds like you're working on a turbo. All right, Bubby. We're gonna wrap up that back. Oh, we got an oil drain here. Goes in right here before we start working. I'd say we stand this thing straight up on end, Kevin, and use our lifting device instead of our backs, because this stuff is heavy back here. Does that sound like a good idea? I think your back said so.
Yeah, back you out of me.
You got it backwards. Turn the camera the other way towards us.
There, I'm good. I got you.
Are you ready to T-Rex arms?
Oh, that's pretty good coverage. This isn't too hard to use.
Oh, are you gonna start using that in your channel?
No.
The last video I mentioned your people and even put a clip of your page in there.
Hi, friends, fans, and followers.
Friends,
You
fans, and
gained
followers.
122
Hey,
people.
Maybe I did. If you joined from Mr. C's recommendation, I appreciate it. It doesn't happen often, but keep your expectations low. I always say that, keep your expectations low. You're not going to learn a lot from my channel, but you might have a good time and feel good about yourself, right, Kevin?
Right.
You're gonna feel.
Your channel's all talking, obviously. That's
I have a
why I'm
lot of
editing all this
talking in my
out.
channel, but a lot of learning about your other friends, you know, the other employees, behind the scenes kind of activities.
Lock one goes out here, bud.
But again, don't expect much. What do you do when the
Turn this off. Now you're just recording it. You're not replaying. This is one take shop. There's no retakes there, is there?
No, it's raw footage.
Raw. What everybody thinks is, maybe I shoot one clip of video over because I screw something up, like say something
They like
wrong.
to see your mistakes. Don't happen very often, does it, Kevin? You don't make mistakes very often. So he thinks.
Is this my bolt?
We're gonna have to get you to a friendship shirt today.
Honey, you wanna hug it out?
So,
Team hug around the engine.
see if you guys could, like the last, what, 6 clips were shot with a different camera because somebody forgot their camera today. I even called my wife and asked if she would leave like an hour or two earlier.
You didn't ask me. You never,
She wasn't real
assumed,
offering, was she?
He assumed that I would leave
So-
or drop what I was doing.
I wonder if you guys can notice that the last 6 or 7 clips were with a different camera. Let me know in the comments.
I'm trying to grow as a person.
Yeah,
And
you're just not helpful.
No, I'm trying to grow as a person and establish boundaries and know when to say no. And then put myself in the
So
same
this is-
situation. Would you
I'm just gonna
do the
warn you,
same
if you go to
thing?
her channel, this is all it's gonna be, is a lot of talking. Sorry. Oh, got that. All right, we're gonna put the plastic torsional dampener on there now. Putting some Loctite on the bolts. All right, these torque to 95 foot-pounds, so this is the only thing that drives the pumps. It's a piece of plastic. Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty wild.
It's the only thing that holds 205 horsepower and goes on a drive flange on the pump. So, all right, we're gonna get this torque down. Then I think we can probably set the valves here. All right, finishing up. We got the oil filter housing on it. We're trying to seal up some holes before we go cranking on the valves, but that is about the next step here. I think we got a new dipstick somewhere too. You see it? Still in the box, right here. That'd probably be a good part to put in too. All right, we're gonna get that in there. We'll be back here in a couple minutes and crank on some valves. What do you think? I already got the engine set timing pin here in the flywheel, so we're on number 1 top dead center. We'll adjust half the valves and we'll turn it, rotation, just the other half. All right, adjusting valves. We actually spun the motor over, went back to number 6 TDC. We wanted to kind of set the valves and stuff, so we're doing a sequence for number 6 TDC. Book tells you what to do. Then we'll rotate it over and do number 1 TDC. So next one would be for exhaust, Kevin. That would be right here. So exhaust are 25 thousandths, intake is 7 thousandths. So he's got a jam net over there. We're checking the clearance right here on top of the bridge. I need a little more clearance to get in there, clearance.
Good.
Yep, come on down. One more. One more. Whoa. That's snug right there. It should be good. I want to get this right where it's just barely rubbing there. Perfect. Couldn't have done it no better myself. Yes. I didn't know your arms were long enough to do that. All right. Number 3 intake.
Number 3 intake.
It's right here. Not yet. There we go. Keep coming. Right there. All right, we're gonna get the rest of those run, and I'll show you how we'll rotate the engine. All right, so we got a timing pin in here. Sure, I have to back it up a little bit, and I'll pull this pin out. Go the other way. Okay. Go ahead and rotate it. So once it gets past that a little bit, just gonna hold your finger on that. I'm just gonna keep rotating until that pin pops back in there. So when we get to number one top dead center, both those valves should be loose, and one of these should be depressed on number 6. We can also verify we're on number 1 by looking at our timing marks on the front of the engine. So I'll keep pressuring that. When that pops in, we'll be there.
Check it.
Nope, right there you went, bud. All right, fill in the hole, we'll verify. We should see our number 2s up here. Got our number 2 on our injection pump gear. We're good. All right, we're gonna adjust the rest of them that don't have our yellow orange paint dot on them, and we'll be done. All right, I like to put a little oil on the valve train before startup, helps lubricate everything. Mr. Kevin's looking for bolts. I think they might be over here. Go ahead and set her on there, Bubby. You're doing a good job. Don't care what anybody says about you on YouTube.
Today is a great day.
It's a great day.
Got an attaboy, done great. Whoa, perfect. Couldn't have done it no better myself.
Who'd you get an attaboy from?
Right there.
Me? I never say
it
that.
Kind of felt like it. Like,
You're just hyping everything up, bud.
Yeah.
Did we get this on camera?
No.
No,
Oh, it didn't happen.
didn't happen then. All right, just finishing up little odds and ends here. We're gonna put a new EGR valve in this thing. Pretty much everything's new. Putting some new anti-seize on the bolts, of course. These can be a pain to get out. You ready, Freddie? You act like this is heavy. All right, we're just stabbing on more parts. It's gonna kind of get boring here. We're still waiting on our oil cooler and our water pump up front. We got a bunch of little odds and ends to put on here, so we're gonna button those up on camera. Got a fuel filter housing. I got to figure out plumbing, make sure I got all that here before the end of the day. If not, I'll get some stuff ordered. And I think we're going to leave the front accessories off of it and stuff and let Mr. Kevin paint this motor all up and make it look new again. So, yeah, we got a few more things to put on here. I want to get the water pump in before we put the front pulley on, and I'm waiting on accessory drive. All this was missing off this motor, so still got some parts rolling in. All right, we're getting low on parts. Got our fuel filters on, got all the lines on. We are missing, I think we got a different adapter fitting here we got to get, but I think I got everything else plumbed up. Our fuel will come in here, returns out there. Kevin's working on, put the dampener pulley on. Getting all that stacked back on there, we can still get to a water pump. So we're waiting on a water pump and a new oil cooler. And Area Diesel's working on a turbo, but we get our oil cooler and water pump on here tonight. I think Mr. Kevin's gonna take this and paint it, aren't you? Is that the plan? Put some Blitz black on her and make her look new. And then we got all brand new sensors, cam sensors, temperature sensors, oil pressure sensors. We're gonna put everything new in it. After paint, get those in there, put the EGR cooler on it. We can't put it on until that oil cooler gets on there. So got a new muffler, we got a new front accessory drive, all that good stuff. So that's probably going to be in the next video, because I know it's going to take a few days for some of that stuff to get here and I want you guys drug out. But we're real close to getting this thing dropped in the tractor. So you guys want to see this thing go in the tractor and maybe run one day, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that. And hit that notification bell so when I do drop a video, you get a little notification, you can watch it. So every Tuesday and Friday we drop a video at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we still got a lot of work to do to prep this machine too. So we got a lot of lines and there's no hydraulics on that thing. There's a lot to do on this. There'll be several more videos coming out on this thing. So we'll take it out and push some dirt with it when we do get it all up and running, if that day ever comes. So, but we've got a new motor here for sure. It's going to be awesome. What you looking for, bolts? That's what we've been doing all day.
Yeah.
We're starting to run out of bolts, so we're getting better. So that's the problem, huh? We've got a mess here we got to clean up. It's getting late on a Friday. So guys, we appreciate each and every one of you watching. We couldn't do this stuff without you. I know I always say that, but we truly do appreciate it. So if you guys got any comments, any of that stuff, make sure you drop them down below. Me and Mr. Kevin. Is that the bolt I was looking for a while ago? Yeah. It's a good thing we got another motor, because I just... We'll find all these bolts later on. So if we don't have them, we're just putting new ones in it. So somebody's going to get a brand new dozer for sure. So you got any closing remarks, Uncle Scott? You gonna smile? You look grumpy. Look at him smile.
I've been practicing that for the camera.
It looks pretty
I'm
fake.
sick of hearing people say I got a...
Okay. Anyway.
This is it, people. This is all you get.
I have no comments. Maybe you and Tucker's related or something.
I mean, he is my nephew, so I guess we're related, huh?
All right, guys. We'll see you in the next one.